predictions for 2022-23. I'll probably make myself look like an idiot like I did last year. This was my one last year. I put Liverpool finishing below Man United, I put Chelsea second, and I put Leicester finishing sixth. So I'm not particularly great at these. Although, to be fair, I got the bottom three pretty well, apart from Newcastle, although they were going to get relegated before the takeover. Southampton finishing just above the relegation zone was a pretty good prediction. Palace and Brentford, a lot of people were putting them in their bottom three, so I think that was a pretty good prediction. Brighton finishing ninth, I'll back that as well. Not a lot of people put Brighton in their top 10, but mine wasn't great last year, just for context. But I'm more confident this year. Obviously, Bournemouth 20th. Anyone that doesn't put Bournemouth 20th, unless you're a Bournemouth fan, is genuinely delusional. There's no way Bournemouth stay in the league. Their squad's terrible, Parker's bang average, and their style of play just doesn't suit the Premier League for a newly promoted club playing slow possession football. Can't see that working. Fulham 19th, then I'm going to put Leeds 18th. Fulham, I want to back them to stay up. I really rate Marco Silva. I think he's an underrated manager. I think he was a lot better at Everton than people gave him credit for. Like when they sacked him, I know they were like 19th, where I think Fulham finished, but their expected points was like 7th. They weren't as bad as people made out, but they just haven't signed a centre back yet, and I can't put them staying up. And the only one they're really being linked with is Issa Diop. I don't think that's good enough. I still think they need a forward signing as well. I can't back them to stay up right now, although I could be changed on that. And with Leeds, I do like some of Leeds' business, but ultimately they lost their two best players. Their other two best players are really injury prone in Bamford and Cooper, and I don't know if Meslier is going to go back to the season before kind of form. And the signings they've all made, none of them really guarantees, and that's fine if you're a club like Brighton or Wolves or West Ham. When you're a club like Leeds, some of them have to bang. So I'm kind of betting, do I back Christensen, Aronson, Luis Sinisterra, Rocker, Adams? Do I back at least half of these guys to work? No. So I think it's more likely that they don't. And if they don't, then they don't have Rafinha or Phillips to fall back on. And their two other best players are really injury prone. I don't back Dan James or Rodrigo to have breakout seasons. So I'm putting them to get relegated just about. Just above them, I'm going to go for Forest and Everton. I think Everton will stay up. I think Everton have done enough. I think Ruben Vinagre is good backup. It's going to stop Ben Godfrey having to play left back. Dwight McNeil's fine. I don't think he's incredible or anything, but I think he'll be a useful contributor. Dominic Calvert-Lewin's back. James Tarkowski's a solid pickup. I think playing for a back three will help them. I don't think Lampard's as much an idiot as people make out. And Idrissa Gueye looks like he's going to join the club, and that's a fucking incredible signing. So I think that'll be fine. Forest, I think, will just about stay up as well. Obviously, there's a lot of squad turnover, but I think momentum will kind of get them through that in those first few games of the season while that squad develops. A lot, and I think playing the back three as a newly promoted club always helps stylistically. Look at Sheffield United, look at Wolves, look at Brentford. Clubs that stay up and play a back three always seem to do well. I don't think that's really a coincidence. I rate Steve Cooper. I like most of their signings. Of course, you're kind of banking on Tyrell Arony and Brennan Johnson combining, and Lingard picking up his every soft and streaky form. But I like all their fullback signings. I think O'Brien and Mangala have kind of backed this. I would have put them there if they hadn't signed some central midfielders, but they have. So I'm just about going to back Nottingham Forest to stay up. In lower mid-table, I'm going to put Southampton finishing 15th. I like the business they've done. I don't think they'll be anywhere near relegation. Ralph Hasenhüttl is always such an underrated manager. The amount of people that say, "Oh, he hasn't really done a great job at Southampton," what a load of bollocks! They should have got relegated so many times. Their squad's awful. Even the players everyone rates there, I don't actually think are very good. He just makes them look good. He's an incredible manager who should be at a much higher level. They're very lucky to have him, and they've got new ownership now. They're finally making some sensible signings. I think they'll be fine. Brentford 14th, which I think where I put them last year. Brentford are just a really well-run club. Thomas Frank's probably one of the better managers out of this list. I think he was really clever last season switching to a back four when he did. I think people just put that on Eriksen. Obviously, Eriksen had an impact, but I think they would have stayed up without Eriksen. They were great for last season. I expected points had them 6th, which I know is not always the best metric, but Brentford are fine. I like Keane Lewis-Potter. Aaron Hickey's good depth. I like Strakosha. It looks like they're going to get Damsgaard as well, which is a nice little pickup. I think Brentford will be fine. I have absolutely zero concerns about them. I'm going to put Brighton in 13th. I really like Brighton. I've always backed them. I backed them last year to finish 9th. But when you've lost Basuma, you've lost Kukurea, and there's no imminent replacements right now, I can't really put them any higher. I'd be interested to see who the replacements are. They've just signed a couple of teenagers who could be great. I trust Brighton's recruitment, but right now I can't back them any higher. I don't think there'll be any relegation issues or anything, but right now, can I put them any higher? No, I can't. But they're a sensibly run club. I'm sure they'll be fine. It's interesting to see how Dennis Undav kind of adapts to the league, but I can't really put them any higher than 13th. Villa in 12th is probably a bit of a rogue one. Look, I like Kamara. Kamara's a really good pickup, and he has to work. If he doesn't work, they'll be stuck with that issue of not having the number 6 again. I trust Kamara, though. I think that'll be a good pickup. I think Diego Carlos is a bit overrated. I'm not a big fan of Luca Digne either. But will Carlos improve them maybe a bit? But I think Concer's injured at the start of the season, right? Which is a bit of a concern. I might be wrong on that. Coutinho's obviously a great pickup. Augustinsen's a bit of a weird signing. I just don't 100% trust Villa. I feel like every summer they make really good signings and then they just never work out. Steven Gerrard hasn't done enough yet to convince me to split them any higher. Although I don't think they'll be disastrous. I think moving to that central system will work, but I'm not willing to put them any higher. Although I could be convinced to make a couple more signings. Newcastle, I'm going to go 11th. I've seen a lot of people put them top half. I can understand why. But at this point, they've only really signed Botman. Obviously, they've kept Target permanently, which is a decent pickup, I guess. They bought in Nick Pope, but Nick Pope had worse goalkeeping metrics than Dubravka last season. Not that I don't, Nick Pope's a good goalkeeper, but it's not an imminent place of need. I still think they need a central midfielder to replace John Joe Shelby, and they need a right winger. They've needed a winger for ages. They can't go into another season with Almiron, and Wilson's still crocked. Actually, you know what? I'm switching Villa and Newcastle. I haven't planned this, but I'm switching Villa and Newcastle. That could change with signings, but right now I'm not backing them to finish any higher than that. Put my club Wolves in 10th, although we could probably be a lot lower, to be honest. But right now, I think we will probably make more signings, but I'm backing Morgan Gibbs White, Pedro Neto, Daniel Podence also kind of have good seasons. Ruben Neves has somehow stayed at the club. Our back four looks solid. I think Jose Sal will have a drop off, but I think it's a bit of a crisis right now at Wolves, but our squad's a lot better than people are giving it credit for. But we're not going to finish any higher than this. That's the max 10th. And that's where we finished last year. And we've signed a new centre-back. We've got Gibbs White and Neto back, but nowhere else has improved. I think 10th is pretty fair assessment of us. 9th and 8th, I'm going between Leicester and Palace, but I keep changing my mind. I'm going to back Palace 8th just over Leicester, just because it looks like Leicester are going to lose some key players. Schmeichel leaving is not an L. People are making it out like that's an L for Leicester. Schmeichel leaving will be a blessing in disguise. He's been terrible for 2 years. James Maddison leaving could be a blow. And obviously Tielemans is going to leave. And they just haven't signed anyone yet. But that squad, if they get their fit players back, which they are going to next season, even without any signings, I still back them to finish above Wolves, Villa and Newcastle. And I still rate Brendan Rodgers as a coach, but I can't put them any higher than that. Palace, I'm backing Chris Richards to do well, and I'm backing Chet Decore. I love Chet Decore. I wish Wolves signed him. I'm backing Elise to get more minutes and do well. It just feels like a club on the up right now, and I can't see my club Wolves. I can't see Villa finishing above that, and I can't see Leicester without any additions. So it kind of just leaves Palace finishing at 8th. It feels too high, but I can't put anyone else above them. So it feels like it has to go there. West Ham 7th is the easiest prediction anyone can ever make. I thought they impressed me so much last season. I thought they'd drop off of Europe, and they didn't. They got a bit lucky not getting a central midfield injury. And Vlasic didn't work out yet. It didn't affect them, but fair play to David Moyes. He's a brilliant manager. And yeah, they proved me wrong last season. I put them 11th, so I'm not going to make that mistake again. Although I was close to putting them 6th, I'm going to put Man United 6th although I'm kind of tempted to put them 7th, not going to lie. But Lisandro Martinez is a good signing. I assume Malacia can't be any worse than Alex Telles. The club feels a bit more stable, and a lot of those players just haven't had good coaching. And Eric Ten Hag coming in will do that. And I assume they will just have an uptick in form because of that. It feels like the mood around the place is pretty good right now. I don't think they'll finish any higher than 6th, but just improving the style of football and getting some coaching into some of them players is a good season. That just because I'm putting them 6th doesn't mean I think they'll have a bad season. They'll be fine. But a lot of these clubs are just further on than them. I'm going to put Arsenal in 5th, just. I like Arsenal signings. I think Vieira's fine, although I don't think it's a position of need. I like Zinchenko. I like Gabriel Jesus. I think Zinchenko is a clear upgrade on Kieran Tierney, who for me has always been really overrated. Gabriel Jesus is the best striker they could have got. The only reason I did have them 4th originally, if I'm being totally honest with you. When I wrote this prediction a week ago, I had them 4th over Chelsea, who I am going to put 4th. The reason I put them 5th is it kind of clicked to me how terrible their midfield is. That midfield too, when they got lost Thomas Partey at the end of last season, it was El Neni and Xhaka. That's not good enough, and they haven't improved that yet. If they sign Tielemans, then maybe this will change. But right now, I can't back a midfield two of Lokonga, who barely played, Maitland-Niles, Partey, who's always injured, and Xhaka to finish top 4. I just can't. Unless Vieira is going to play deep or they're going to play Zinchenko. I can't see Zinchenko playing midfield too in the Premier League. I know he does it for Ukraine, but I can't back off. If they buy a central midfielder and a good one, then I'll put them 4th. But right now, no. Chelsea 4th. It's a bit of Chelsea's a very unstable club right now. I get that. But there's still enough quality in that squad. Cucurella is a good signing, although people are trying to make out it's not. It's a good signing. Sterling's a guarantee of goals. Koulibaly's a good centre back for the next couple of years. Of course, they need a couple, but I think Chelsea will be fine. And I just can't see them not getting top four. Although equally, it wouldn't surprise me if they finished seventh and had a crisis. But I can't not back that talent level with Reece James and Ben Chilwell being back as well. Because they dropped off a lot last season when those two got injured, and no one really talked about that. Tottenham third is probably the easiest prediction you can make in this list, along with Bournemouth. They're clearly the third best side in the Premier League. They were the third best side since Conte came in towards the end of last season, or in November to the end of the season. They were clearly the third best side in that time. And their squads, their first 11, I wouldn't necessarily have got better, but their squad's got a lot better. And they've had a pre-season under Conte. Conte's an elite manager. I just can't see them not finishing third. I feel like it's a pretty easy prediction. And the top two, I know it's boring, but you just have to back Man City to do it, and then obviously Liverpool to finish second. It'll be tight again. I still think, I don't really get why Erling Haaland's getting clowned so much. I think he'll have a great season. Calvin Phillips is an upgrade on Fernandinho. I am concerned about their left-back situation, although it looks like they're going to buy Sergio Gomez out of Anderlecht, which is a bit of a punt, but, you know, he could be great. I backed Julian Alvarez to have a good season. I think Liverpool will be fine. If Liverpool had signed a central midfielder, I would have backed them to win the league, but they haven't bought one yet, and they're not going to buy one. I like the Nunez pickup. Luis Diaz will be great. Jota will be great. Their side's fine. They don't have any right-back depth. I don't think Calvin Ramsey's going to be ready yet. And Jordan Henderson's a liability. He's a defensive liability. He doesn't press. He does no defensive work. He can't dribble. He's just a passing hub. If Liverpool had bought like a decent central midfielder to play in that midfield three, I'd back them to win the league. I genuinely would. But with Jordan Henderson and Keita and Milner, just can't see it over a season. And you kind of got back Man City to win the league. So yeah, that's my predictions. I feel like that's pretty fair. I feel like it'll go a lot better than last season's. But feel free to tell me if I'm chatting shit in the comments. So yeah, if you enjoyed the video, subscribe to the channel, like the video, and yeah, peace.